Right, my mother's just been shot, Keeper's Cottage shut. My mother's just been shot, Keeper's Cottage shut. I'm running for my life. He's just shot my mum, John Lowe.
Has someone been shot, did you say?
Yes, I don't know whether I'm going to be alive if I go back in there.
These are the desperate final words of Lucy Lee, pleading for help moments before she was ruthlessly killed by John Lowe. Inside the house that Lucy had run from, her mum Christine was already dead. But how, in this leafy district of Surrey, could a mother and daughter be the subject of a brutal crime? And could anything have been done to prevent this horrific double murder? Christine Lee first met John Lowe in 1986 when she took her two daughters, Lucy and Stacey, to the farm to buy a puppy. Before long, Christine began a relationship with Lowe and moved herself and her two daughters into the farm. What was it like moving in with John Lowe?
It was pretty exciting. John Lowe at that time, the early days, bred German Shepherds, Rottweilers, and there were monkeys, there were parrots, there were horses, there were dogs. It was like living on a zoo.
If Stacey and Lucy thought life at Keeper's Cottage would be idyllic, they'd soon be mistaken. Lowe was a violent and abusive man. So what was he like with the animals?
Okay, so if they didn't breed, then they weren't necessary. And he would shoot them and burn them. And that's what he did.
And what was it like in terms of his behaviour to you and your mother?
It was kindness one minute, violence the next. He was violent to me, he was violent to Lucy. You'd get a smack round the head or the back of the head, and even as an adult, he still did it to me. If you didn't do something right, he would hit.
It escalates to a point where John Lowe starts making threats to kill.
I was in the kitchen, I was making a cake, because he said he wanted a fruit cake, so I was making a cake. And he came in with the gun loaded and threatened to shoot me. And I ran for my life. And I ran all the way down the driveway and I hid. And I called my husband and I called the police.
The death threats were reported to police and Lowe had his shotguns confiscated, but in a catalogue of errors, Surrey police returned the guns back to him.
23rd of February 2014, knock on the door, 2 police officers, and he said there's been an incident. 2 women have been killed, murdered at the farm, and I fainted.
Lowe had shot and killed Christine, but Lucy manages to escape and calls 999 to alert the police. Bravely, she then returns to the house to try and save her mother, only to be gunned down herself. So when was the last time you saw your mum and your sister?
I saw my mum in September. She was exhausted and shattered, and we spent 3 or 4 hours together at my home, and she played with the children. And she said, "I'll see you after Christmas, everything will be back to normal." And it wasn't. I never saw them again.
The Farnham Herald played quite an important role in the coverage of the story because you are the local newspaper. When you were first told about the murders at the cottage, were you surprised?
Everybody who knew John knew that he had the capacity to do things which sort of shocked people. It's not uncommon for somebody who owns a small holding to have guns, but to have quite as many guns as he had was quite a surprise. And then to learn that they'd been confiscated from him and then given back was a big shock. And I think a lot of people, the talk afterwards immediately locally was why had the guns been given back to him.
At Guildford Crown Court, a remorseless John Lowe pleaded not guilty to the murders of Christine and Lucy, saying the killings were an accident. But a jury disagreed and found him guilty on both counts, and he was sentenced to life in prison.
He's never getting out. He'll never hurt anyone again, can he?
What are your memories of your mum and your sister?
I wish I had a mum. And I wish I had a sister, and I have none of that, and my children have none of that. And that is something that is, it's not the memories of them, because of course they're stored. It's the memories that were taken away from us.
This senseless double murder shocked this community, but the question still remains, what would have happened here on that fateful February day if those lethal weapons hadn't been returned back into the hands of a violent, cold-hearted man?